We are going to be joined in studio by one of the greatest of all time. And I don't say that lightly. 30-16 as a fighter, 43 years young, former UFC welterweight champion, the first from ATT way back in the day. Two-time Hall of Famer as of 3 weeks from now. Former Elite XC middleweight champion, former Strikeforce middleweight contender. 22 wins via KO, 1 via sub. 5th most KO/TKO wins in UFC welterweight history. 5th longest time in the UFC octagon in welterweight history, over 5 hours. Wins over Rory McDonald, Matt Brown, Carlos Condit, Johnny Hendricks, Nick Diaz, Cowboy Cerrone, Matt Lindland, Melvin Manhoef, Ninja Hua, Chris Lytle. Amazingly made his pro debut a month after his 19th birthday. UFC debut was UFC 37. UFC 37 in Bossier City, Louisiana. Defeated Aaron Riley. Had a stint there, left, went all over. Icon, Pride, King of the Cage, IFL, Strikeforce, Elite XC. Strikeforce gets purchased, 2011, comes back to the UFC, goes on an incredible run at 170 pounds, and then becomes champion. Becomes champion at 170 pounds, has a great run there, and a year ago retired. After his win over Nico Price. Remember that? The tears, the video package, and then we found out back in March he's going in the Hall of Fame. I think he would be the first to say, wasn't always a fan of doing interviews, speaking to the media. Never thought he would come in studio. So I'm very much looking forward to this. This is going to be great. Some of his greatest knockouts, in my opinion, are on the list of greatest knockouts of all time. I mean, if there are any new fans who have never seen a Robbie Lawler fight, golly, the UFC has a video that they posted a few years ago, his greatest knockouts, and it's from a couple years ago, so there are some missing. Just sit back and enjoy. His nickname was Ruthless. Some of the most ruthless, vicious knockouts you will ever see. Truly. Again, Manhoef, Lindland, two of my favorites, but he had so many others. These days he's been coaching over at Killcliff, and there have been some rumors, talks, reports of potentially a bare knuckle fighting venture or two, which I think would be a sight to see, especially against one Mike Perry. And so we'll be able to ask him all those questions and more. Without further ado, let us say hello to the living legend, the two-time Hall of Famer, the former UFC welterweight champion, the former Elite XC middleweight champion, the former Strikeforce title contender, the one and only Ruthless Robbie Lawler. Wow, great to see you, man.
What's up, man?
How are you?
I'm good.
It's amazing to see you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this, Robbie. And I was saying before you came in, never in my million years in my thoughts that I ever think that Robbie would come in studio, because I always kind of got the impression you didn't love doing this sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely never.
You never liked it.
Part of the business, I guess.
Yes. Well, now that you're retired, you can maybe let your hair down a little bit.
Yeah.
Whatever hair you have.
Yeah, right.
Not much. But yeah, like, you know, I always used to remember like the media day interviews and stuff like that. I always kind of felt like, yeah, you didn't really want to do this.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, let's just fight.
Yeah.
You guys, I feel like that's what I got into the sport for, to fight and make a little money, and that's all I really wanted to do.
And I think you did that.
Tried to.
Quite well. So there's a lot to talk to you about. By the way, congratulations. You're going back into the Hall of Fame, this time as a solo act, if you will. So two-time Hall of Fame inductee. Did you have any idea, by the way, when they put that up there? You were in attendance, right, in March?
Yeah.
But did you know that announcement was coming?
I had a feeling, just because the year before they asked me to go, and I just had a feeling. So, but still, it was shocking when.
What do you mean the year before they asked?
The year before, they were like, "Hey, you want to come to a UFC?" I'm like, "Yeah," and then I'd cancel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
why?
Just because I had stuff going on.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Just stuff going on, couldn't make it, and then when I was, just couldn't make it.
And so, you know, it's wild because we saw you cry when you made the retirement, you know, speech, and they had the video. Seeing Robbie Lawler cry is a weird thing, because and here's the video right here. Like, you're just, you're one of the toughest human beings on earth. I bet you probably don't like to see yourself cry, right?
I don't really mind, but it wasn't so much like I'm one of those guys who like never let the highs or the lows get to me, and I never really took praise or hate, period, because I just stayed level. But to hear all those kind words from all those fighters, like, was nice. I was able to take it in when I never really like let myself, because I'm just always competing on to the next thing, but there's nothing on to the next thing for fighting right now. So just kind of like all those years of not allowing myself to I'd be like, oh yeah, thanks, but I'm never really heartfelt, just kind of like moving on to the next. So it was just a lot at one moment, a lot of years.
Was that a conscious decision when you were fighting to not get too high or get too low, or is that just who you are as a person?
That's just who I am. It's all about competing. How can I get better? Like, you're just, because what do you get from those things? Do you get, it has to do with techniques, how you're getting better, and I don't think any of those things really help, hate or praise. It's just, where do I need to go to get better? It's just,
even when you're UFC champion and you're on top of the world, you're not like getting a big head. You're not allowing yourself to smell the roses, or
not really, because you're kind of on to the next. How can I figure this thing out? How can I get better? So you can't really like ever. I never let myself like truly like take it all in.
Right. And so now you're maybe allowing yourself to do that a little bit more.
Short spurts, because I mean,
you're not sitting back and looking at your old fights.
No,
not showing your kids.
No, just kind of like on to the next. It's
really?
like, yeah, it's who are you moving forward? How are you growing? How are you? I mean, that's just kind of how I am. Like, what can I do now to? It's not who you are. It's who you are now and who you're trying to be. So that's.
So like something like the Hall of Fame, do you kind of dread it because it's more of like a celebration of your past?
I don't. What I think it is for me, it's good for me, but it's also for everyone who helped me, because I didn't do all this on my own. Like, I had a lot of help, a lot of people who supported me. It's for them also.
Okay. And so who are you now? Like you say, like that's who I am and who I'm going to be. Who is Robbie Lawler right now?
Just trying to be a good coach, family guy, a freaking business. Just trying to better myself, learn nutrition, just evolving and trying to fine tune who I am and get better. It doesn't stop just because fighting's over.
Is your main thing these days coaching at Killcliff?
Yeah, I do coach business. So just like
what's the business? Is the business the coaching?
Yeah, coaching.
Okay.
Yeah, just.
Do you enjoy coaching?
I do. It's so many people help me, but it's time. How much time can you put in? And like a lot of these guys just come in for fights, so it's like figuring out what they need now and what they need in the future, because sometimes they're only there for 6 weeks. So it's like, and then you're getting ready for one guy, so you see all these things they need to work on, but you also see what they need to work on for that fight. So it's like, all right, I only have 6 weeks. How do I?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Because there are some gyms and guys who live in cities that they're there year round.
Yes.
But the Florida gyms like ATT, Killcliff, a lot of the guys, like a Chandler, right? He'll just come in for the camp. Probably for a coach, it'd be like a lot of people say the best work is done in between camps, right?
I would agree. I would agree, because it's you fine tune 8 weeks out from a fight, but you're strengthening everything, building your body up, and when the fight's not even signed yet. So
do you have guys that you specifically work with right now?
I just kind of oversee, and then I work with certain guys, and if they want my help, I'm there to.
Are you there every day?
Yeah, I'm there every day.
Okay.
I mean, I don't go on Saturdays. Sometimes I go on Saturdays, but Monday through Friday. So.
And are you head coach for some of these guys?
I'm an assistant to the assistant.
Okay, fair enough. Was this always something you wanted to do?
I've kind of been doing this whole time, because like so many guys.
Even when you were active?
Yeah, just kind of helping up and comers. Like, here's a little technique here, a little tech. I mean, we're all helping each other.
Yeah.
Really is what it comes down to. Now I'm taking a step back, and like no fighting's involved for me, so it's more about giving. But yeah, it's always coaching. If you have a good team around you, everyone's learning from everybody.
Could I ask, and maybe this is a hard question to answer, who was your favorite coach? Who's the coach that you connected with the most, that you are trying to pattern your coaching style after now?
I don't know, but
You've had some great ones.
yeah, a lot of good ones. So I take little pieces from everyone, and I'm like also listening to other coaches around the world in different sports, different.
Oh, you're studying?
Yeah, I study. I'm like, because you can't coach every fighter the same. Everyone's different. Everyone needs different techniques, different ways to touch certain buttons on them. So it's a lot.
This is a very emotional game, right? Like there's supreme highs and lows. But again, you're such an even keel guy. Perhaps that's good for a coach, right? Like you don't get big fight, doesn't go your way. You're not like licking your wounds on the Saturday and Sunday. You're back at it on Monday saying like, how do we get better, right?
Exactly. And I'm like detached because I'm kind of trying to see everything from up there. I'm invested, but I'm like trying to do it with no emotion so I can be sharp and
love it.
Over time, just kind of like figuring it out.
By the way, when you had that fight and the win over Nico Price, because it was so quick and dominant, and I know you kind of said like this is probably the last one, and then you kind of confirmed that. Was there any part of you in the back of your mind of being like, yo, this is too good. Like, why don't I just keep going? I'm winning in 37 seconds.
Yeah, there's always that, but it wasn't necessarily, it was the time I could put in. I can't train like I used to. I can go hard and I can do and fight at a high level, but it's how long it takes to recover now. So like, what do I have? Like, because I work out still. I mean, I lift somewhere between 4 to 5 times a week. I might hit the bag 3 to 4 times a week and grapple here and there, but it's a lot of work and the stress of like getting ready and the time you have to put in and the selfishness you have to put in to get yourself ready, like, and then you have to want it.
And so,
on
like,
top of it,
because you love, I would imagine you love fighting, right?
Yeah.
When did you make the decision or the determination? What was the factor that said, okay, like this is going to be it?
Couple fights before that, I'm like, when is the time? When is the time? And it just
was that hard for you?
No, it wasn't hard. It's just no one can tell me when. I have to tell myself. Like, no, if someone was like, "Hey, you have to retire," I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm the boss.
What's interesting is some fighters say like they miss like the crowd, the fans, the attention, the hoopla. I feel like you don't miss any of that. You just miss the adrenaline, the fight, right?
Yeah, I like the fight. I like the obviously making good money, doing stuff that I've done my whole life. But it's like, how much training can I put into? I could do it, but it's a lot more work, and I have to structure it on breaks and rest, and like lot harder now as you age to fine tune everything.
Have you been tempted at any point this year to come back?
No, not really. I mean, I keep myself in pretty good shape. I just in case, somebody runs up on me, I'm ready.
On the street? No one's
anywhere, right? I always just keep myself in shape just because, like, I love being in shape and I love being able to take care of business if I have to.
When's the last time someone tried to run up on you?
Oh, never. No.
Even as a kid?
Oh, as a kid, maybe.
But not when you were Robbie Lawler.
I don't know.
Okay, so what's this like you getting back into the pool stuff?
Oh yeah, I mean I've been in the pool for a while.
You never left?
I don't know about that, but it's
what do you mean? Yeah. Now we're getting the old Robbie back.
So yeah, exactly. you touch certain points and I freaking
you go back
dodge
into
yeah. So really, what it was is I was in the pool already, and then they happened to test me when there was a whole bunch of people at the gym. And then some guy basically said, "Oh, he's been in the pool." Well, I've been in the pool for a while.
Okay.
Obviously, somebody at our gym probably was like, "What's Robbie doing in the pool?" Even though I had been tested months before that. So to me, it was like, whatever.
So it didn't seem like you were coming back, but I'd be remiss if I don't ask, like the Mike Perry BKFC stuff, that continues to come up. Feldman has talked about it. Perry has talked about it. On your end, is that a real thing?
Not really. I mean, they touched base probably January last year, and this is where we are today. So, like, you tell me.
Yeah. Is it something that you're interested in?
I mean, I never say never to anything, but I mean, I'm
Could you even do it because of the UFC?
I mean, we have to cross those paths
Okay.
when we need to.
Old Robbie
and-
coming back.
Exactly, yeah.
How do you feel about bare knuckle?
I mean, a fight's a fight, right?
I think
I mean,
so.
that's how I first started fighting. I mean, I did martial arts, but
Yeah.
like, I mean, obviously as a kid,
Are you a
we
fan of
didn't
it?
put
Do you
on
watch
gloves.
it?
I don't watch too much fighting unless I'm watching somebody that is going to be fighting one of our guys or something where I'm learning something. So it's otherwise I'll dive too deep and I'll spend too much time on it. So
Sure.
I'll just pick and choose what I spend my time on.
You kind of are with like this is a compliment like tailor made for that world, right? I mean, like there are only certain fighters that could do that. I think some guys just don't. There have been other like, no, I want the gloves,
Yeah.
and that's no knock on them. But like, I feel like you in that world would be,
Well, really, a fight to me, a fight's a fight.
yeah,
I mean, knees to the head of the grounded opponent, soccer kicks,
Yes.
stomps, like that's kind of like fighting.
You like. I know you had one Pride fight, but that was in America.
yeah, but
but
when
it-
I fought in Hawaii, they
yeah.
had all those.
Did you
rules,
like
too.
that?
Yeah, it's
You wanted everything allowed.
well, you weren't safe anywhere. Like
Sure.
if you were in the front headlock position, you probably shouldn't hang out there because you might be getting kneed in the head. So like, it's just more stuff to worry about and no resting spots.
You know, it's interesting that we're talking to you this week because a big topic on this show and in the sport right now has been obviously the UFC is so dominant, but there aren't a lot of number 2, number 3, number 4 promotions in the sport and in America in particular. And you're the perfect example of how this could help you, right? Like you had the first run with the UFC. Okay, it is what it is. But then great success with Elite XC, Strikeforce, had a little run with IFL, the Pride fight. You're in Hawaii. Those spots don't exist anymore. You know what I mean? Like if you're a guy in the UFC who is like, okay, maybe you're 3-3, and they say, okay, go build yourself up. Where are you going to build yourself up? I don't feel like the Showtime platform that you had, which was great to rebuild you, right? That doesn't exist anymore, and I think that's a problem for guys.
I think it's coming, but I definitely think everyone's kind of like looking to the UFC as the big show. They have the Contender Series, so now
Right.
everyone's getting ready for that. I'm not sure when it is, July to
Yeah.
September. Dana White Contender
Yeah.
Series. Now that's a thing, but it pretty much comes down to trying to get fights and getting them wherever you can, so that when you do get to the UFC, it's not about getting to the UFC; it's about staying.
Sure.
So.
When you left though, and then you had to go to Elite XC, and you fought on CBS in front of millions of people. Like it wasn't like you were in the minor leagues. Was it always in the back of your mind, I'm doing all this to get back to the UFC, or if you didn't get back to the UFC, you would have been at peace?
Yeah, I was just kind of like a kid, just fighting because I enjoyed fighting, and like, oh, it's on CBS, okay, whatever. Like,
You didn't care about any of that.
no, because I'm
It's like 4 or 5
about the
million
fight.
people
Yeah,
watching.
but I'm about getting paid and fighting and doing what I love. Like, okay, there's people watching. I wasn't trying to be famous.
At all.
There wasn't when I first started fighting. There wasn't 4 million people fighting
Right.
or watching. It
Right.
was 4 fights a year in the UFC, and we fought on Fridays. So it was like way different. Like I was doing it because I love to fight.
You were a teenager.
When I first started, I was a teenager, but by the time I got to the UFC, I was 20.
Right. But I mean, I think your debut, you were 19, right?
Yeah.
Your MMA debut.
Yeah, but Pat like made me like he wouldn't let me go pro early, so I was
Because
like,
you were with him as of 15, I think it was?
he came into the high school when I was 15, and then I'm like, what do you guys do? And then I started training with them like 16, just doing the kickboxing classes, and then
Was
started
Pulver there?
full-time. Pulver moved
Sylvia?
there when I was a senior.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Sylvia came shortly after that, and Hughes was there, and just a
So
lot of
did he come to
studs.
the school to recruit?
No, he was coming to bring fighters there who were okay at wrestling, like Jeremy Horn came, Nate Schroeder, one of the early UFC guys, and I'm like, hold on a second, what have you guys been doing?
Wow.
I'm like, I've been training my whole life for this, kind of because I did martial arts,
Yeah.
learned to box, started wrestling.
Taekwondo, right?
Yeah, so it was just kind of like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. I didn't tell anybody at 15 that's
Sure.
what I was going to do, but
Did you watch UFC then? Like, were you a
yeah,
fan?
I would go and like rent the like
Yeah, the VHS.
VHS.
Yeah.
just to see, and then I'd be like, what? He got choked out, when they had this.
Yeah.
Didn't even know what was going on. But yeah, I liked fighting, so watched all kung fu movies, martial arts movies.
Were you a pro wrestling fan too?
I watched a little bit of it, but more of a boxing fan and
Okay.
a football fan.
Who
American football.
right? Who are some of the boxers that you liked?
Obviously Tyson growing up, and then like as I got older, like I watched like a lot of Holyfield fights.
Okay.
Like, just
Did
Felix
you ever
Trinidad.
consider that instead of MMA?
No, not really, because I mean, I wrestled. I could do like so many things, and it was just my avenue.
When you get to the gym, the Miltich gym, are you familiar with who these dudes are? Like, do you know who Sylvia Hughes are?
Not really. When Sylvia got there, I was already there, and he just moved in from Maine with Tony Fricklin, and I'm like, okay, who are these guys? But I knew
Is it
who Jens
intimidating?
was. No, because I could fight.
Yeah.
I was like,
Even though you were a kid,
yeah, but I.
no one tried to bully you or anything like that, or uh-oh,
I mean, there was times where like,
they tried to test you.
yeah, like they're all competitive guys, but like I'm like, okay, this is how it is. Like this, I'm at the right place.
Wow. Any situation where it got
No.
okay.
All just everything handled in the gym. No disrespect
Sure.
or anything. I'm like, okay, like let's freaking like, gotta turn it up.
any of those vets like really take you under their wing? Like, was there one guy in particular?
I mean, obviously Matt Hughes, Jens Pulver. He's the guy who actually got me into the UFC because he actually got my fight in, I think it was IFC or whatever in Hawaii. He set that up, and then when I fought there, Dana was there, and
Oh wow.
I did well, and then I got signed right after that.
Did
so.
he put in the good word?
Yeah, he said you got to go see this guy, but I think Dana was there anyways to see. I mean, that card was pretty stacked with a lot of UFC guys.
Amazing. And the end of the first UFC run, why did it end so quickly? I think it was like a 2-year run or so, right?
Yeah, I just wasn't ready, and it was.
Did you agree with that? Did you think this was the right?
You don't have time to freaking worry about agreeing and like, oh, this is a woe is me.
Yeah,
It's like, all right,
On to the next.
yeah, let's freaking like fight.
You didn't take it personally?
No, like
Chip on your shoulder?
because it's sport. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like I don't focus on those things. I just grind. Okay, let's figure out a way to get better, and why can't I showcase what I'm capable of? And was always the goal, to like showcase who I was as a fighter.
You know that's not common though, right? Like a lot of people would take it personally. A lot of people would be like, man, screw these guys. They gave up on me. I'm going to show them. I'm going to show the world I'm being disrespected, all that stuff. How do you not have these thoughts?
Maybe I wanted to be out of the UFC. Maybe I didn't want to do interviews. Who knows? But it's
Yeah.
just kind of like, okay, I get to go to Hawaii and fight.
Cool.
And then I wasn't cutting any weight, so I was enjoying my time there and just training and fighting. Like there wasn't much limelight anyways, but
Sure.
there was no limelight when you're fighting in Hawaii on these smaller shows. So I was just get to fight, improve my craft, work on my skills, and make money and go on vacation every time I fought.
Yeah, I guess the truth is the UFC in 02, 03 wasn't.
Yeah.
Was it like?
Yeah, I think I was out of there like 04.
Yeah.
I don't know, but then I was, yeah.
All
It
good.
wasn't like it is today where it's UFC is enormous.
Like when you would walk down the street back then, did anyone know what you did for a living?
Sometimes they would. In Hawaii, like a lot of really good fans in Hawaii, they would know who I was, but no, you'd be at the airport, no one's bothering you. I mean,
There was that period, I have to say, like I remember the period that you were in Strike Force, so it's post Elite XC, you grew out the hair, you had the beard. Remember that period? That was a
Yeah.
wild time. Why did you
Yeah.
grow out the hair and beard? Just wanted something different?
Yeah, just grew my
I
hair
felt
out.
like it was sort of like a metaphor. Maybe I'm looking at this a little too deeply. You're probably going to laugh at me. But do you remember the Tim Kennedy fight, the press conference? You fell asleep?
Yeah,
Like you were completely disinterested in all of this, right? You wanted nothing to do with any of this stuff.
yeah.
And I thought it was a little bit of a metaphor for the state of your career because I felt like you weren't being challenged. You didn't feel like there was any fire in Strike Force. There was nothing for you to really chase. And here you are just being like, and you know, your record at that point, like, I just didn't feel like we were getting the best of you.
Yeah, there could be something to that, but it could also be I didn't sleep well the night before, and then they wake me up at 8 a.m. to freaking drive an hour into the city of Chicago, and then
Right.
I sit there and listen to freaking Fedor get asked questions for an hour.
Okay, you were annoyed. You were
No, I'm
annoyed.
just kind of like, what am I doing up?
Sure. Yeah, no, you're right.
Like
You're 100%
it's like
right.
this is silly. Like, and being me. So yeah.
Okay, so were you not actually sleeping? Were you more just like?
I mean, I would have went to sleep, but
Yeah.
like I got like nudged a little bit, which
Sure.
was probably good. But like that's how I felt at the time. I was a kid, so
But towards the end of that run, were you sort of feeling like, all right, I need something here? Because the guy that showed up in the UFC in a different weight class at 170, you were a completely different person. You seemed
yeah.
like that, like a rocket had been put in you, and you were there to kill everyone.
Yeah, so like after the Kennedy fight, I'm like, what the heck's the matter with me? Why? Who am I? Kind of thing.
Okay, you had to look
The
internally.
situation, like, who am I going to be? The guy who freaking just like going out there, like fighting for a decent paycheck and just being another guy. So then I cleaned up my diet, ended up wrestling for like a year and a half at Iowa, just grinding hard workouts, doing my own thing. And then
Oh wow.
UFC freaking bought Strikeforce, and then I'm like, okay,
Let's go.
I'm going down to 170, and I've been watching these guys for a long time, and it's time.
That was one of the most fun aspects of the purchase because it was you coming back, but you coming back in a new weight class. And it's like, all right, let's see how he matches up against the Koscheck's of the world. And you freaking wrecked everyone.
Yeah, well, it's like I had purpose, and I was on a mission, but like I had been watching all these guys. It's like I was like an outsider, just always watching. Obviously, he fought Hughes, and
Right.
like paying attention to that weight class, paying attention to a lot of fighters. But like I'm like, okay, I match up good against that guy, and just it's different when you're the outsider looking in. No one's paying attention to you,
Sure,
and
sure.
then all of a sudden you're there, and it's like, okay, and then you're different than what they expected of you.
Well, why did you decide to go down to 170 in that moment?
I was always a 70-pounder.
Yeah.
By the end, after training I was like walking around at like 187 and
Okay.
fighting at 185. Just fighting for the fun of it, just enjoying.
You didn't want to do the extra to cut that weight, even though you probably should have.
At that time?
Yeah.
Why? I mean,
Yeah.
I could compete. I mean, I didn't do great for a period of time, but like I can fight.
Was it frustrating though because you felt like you were better than the guy that we were seeing? Like you're like, I'm not this guy.
It was always frustrating whenever I lost. Like, why isn't the guy that I know I am showing up? So that was always like, all right, get back to it until you show everybody.
When they bought Strikeforce, did they call you and say we want you to come? Like, how does that work?
So I think when I knew that they were buying it, I think it was at like the UFC, and Dana was like, hey, I think you're going to be working for me pretty soon. And I was
Wow.
kind of like, okay, something's going on. So, and there's rumbling. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Wow. And so they just took your contract and brought it over.
Yep.
I said earlier before you came in, I think two of my favorite knockouts of all time, not just your knockouts. Number one, I think all time for me. Do you want to guess?
Manhoff.
Man off, man. I think that might be my favorite knockout of all time. The way he kicked your leg, and then you return in Miami, I believe it was. And then this right here, the way you freaking come out of nowhere with the right hand. What's going on with your leg over there? Not in this moment, but you know the kicks, right? I mean, you'll never forget them.
Beating the crap out of my legs, and
How much did that hurt? Your leg
during
was going so
during
high.
the fight, it's just like a little bit of pain, but it's like, okay, like one time I felt like a crunch and I like took a step. Okay, I'm good. One time I sprained my ankle after he kicked. I'm like, okay, can you walk? You're good. You're just kind of like doing assessments after like these,
Each one.
okay, you're good. Like, and then it's just like, but he kept doing the same thing. If you go back and look at the fight, it was kick, come in with a barrage of punches, kick, come in with a barrage of punches, and then he did that one too many times, and I was able to catch him with the right hand.
Were you timing it?
No, it was just like, okay, here's what he's doing. How many times is he
Sure.
gonna do? You have to take advantage of
In
something.
your mind, are you saying enough is enough?
No, you're just kind of like biding your time,
Right.
and just he's a freaking freak with a
Yeah.
lot of freaking knockouts
Yeah.
at that time.
Any damage after the fight to your leg?
Yeah, I had to do I tore like my cartilage.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Surgery?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Meniscus. I had to
Okay.
clean it up a little bit.
Because of the kicks.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I
wow.
felt it crunch in the fight. I'm like, oh, and that was one of like the assessments. I'm like, okay, I'm good.
And
I
that was
can
your
walk.
was it your left? It was your left leg, right?
My lead leg, right?
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Okay. Is that your favorite?
I mean, a lot of people like it. I don't know if I really have any favorites. They're all
You don't have number one.
no, not really. They're all
My number two. Do you know what number two is?
Is it a Strike Force?
Yeah.
Linland?
Yeah. I love the good job, by the way. Good job. The Linland one is tremendous. This one right here, like the way he falls and then flips over, and then you're like, all right, this is over. I mean, to be honest, he was a little stiff in the fight. And
Oh, for sure.
Right?
And like I was doing a lot of wrestling training, but like my footwork was really good.
Yeah.
And I was in and out, and Matt Linland's who he is, and obviously has been training for a long time and fighting for a long time, and he just couldn't handle that speed, let alone on his feet, and I never let him get a hold of me. So
Sure.
it's just not a
It
good.
looked inevitable
Yeah,
from the get-go.
the footwork was a
Yes.
little too much, and he was.
And he was stiff, and you were landing all your
Yeah.
shots. And the way he fell and then turned over, never quite seen that before.
Yeah. Well, he probably got hurt and then like
Yeah.
kind of like woke up, and like obviously your neuro system as you age, it's not
Morrow's call, I don't know if you remember, it's like, ho, 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 he gets a KO for Christmas. It was like right before Christmas.
Yep.
You never watch any of these?
No,
If it, like,
unless
comes on your
unless
phone or
they,
something?
No, I don't.
No.
I don't do Instagram or anything.
You don't do anything? Social media, Twitter?
No, I'll just dive too deep, and I'm like not gonna.
It's not good
my
for you.
time. Yeah, I just try to spend my time doing things that I think are productive for myself.
Sure. Not looking at your old highlights.
Yeah, right. Like,
No. Who's doing that?
yeah.
Strikeforce must have been a fun time, right? It's like that era right there. That's when they're really kind of like starting to gain momentum and nipping at the UFC's heels. I thought they were putting on fun fights. No, maybe Elite XC.
Elite XC was pretty fun, but like, I had been at like some of the Strikeforce fights, and like I wasn't fighting. I don't know who was fighting. Maybe Overeem. I was in St. Louis, and I'm like a half a block away, going to the bathroom, and the freaking some guy comes and like, hey, what are you doing here? I'm like, there's fights here tonight,
Yeah.
and they didn't even know.
Oh,
Obviously,
wow.
you're a fight fan, so like,
Wow. Yeah,
so like.
that didn't happen when you got back to the UFC.
No,
No.
but like that just shows you how you're supposed to run a show. Like somebody who knows who I am should know that there's a fight
Literally, yeah.
50 feet away
Yeah.
in their city.
Were you motivated by the belt? Like when you got to the UFC, did you say to yourself, all right, I need to be a champion?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. Like I was just like, okay, I have a freaking goal, and this is what I want.
Okay. When you got that goal, what was that night like?
When
181,
I got
right?
that goal,
Yeah, when you got the belt. Yeah.
that was good. It was like a lot of hard work and freaking sacrifice and grind put in, and
Because a lot of people thought you should have won it a few months prior, right?
Yeah.
Did you think so?
I would say that was a situation where I felt I won the fight and lost the competition.
So this
But
is
I mean-
170, I think it was 171 or something.
Yes, roughly.
Yeah,
But,
Johnny Hendricks.
yeah, he's really good, and he's a competitor, and he freaking landed some good shots when push came to shove in the fifth, and was able to get the victory. And it just kind of like, all right, let's get after it. I didn't do enough, and have to freaking get there again. So I was on a mission.
There are some guys who kind of stick around post-retirement. Johnny's one of those guys who, like, I've not heard a thing from him. Do you have any idea where he is, what he's doing?
No, I have no idea because I don't really like
Keep in touch.
or like watch social
Follow-
media
right.
or like
Yeah.
stalk people or whatever.
But he had a great
people
run.
do.
I saw you.
for sure. He beat a lot of really good guys.
And you have said he's super strong.
Oh, really strong. Like yeah,
Like one of the strongest guys you've ever fought.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But you got that. And I think you're the answer to a trivia question. You were the first guy from ATT to win a belt. Big deal.
Well, UFC belt, right?
Yeah, to win a UFC belt. I remember Dan Lambert in the back going crazy because he
Yep.
finally had a UFC champion. And now you compete against Dan Lambert.
Yeah.
Why didn't you stay at ATT?
It was just time for me to go. Like
Yeah.
it's just like time to move on and find something else. So
But you wanted to stay in Florida.
I'm just going wherever the sport's taking me, kind of thing. You know, like I'm not saying never to this or that. Just
Sure.
kind of like going with the flow, and wherever the sport's taking me, I'm headed. So
Did you want to fight GSP? Like, was that guy, one guy that?
yeah, I think I was always training for that guy,
Yeah.
and like just never
Didn't work
happened.
out.
Yeah, like he was the top of the top, so that was who I was always getting ready for.
And when you became champion, was it what you thought it was going to be? Whatever you thought it was going to be? Did you have any thoughts about what it could be? You had a nice run.
I don't know. It just was what it was. It's just like you've won a title now. It's like, okay, on to the next. Like,
It's different though because now you're the guy. Like, you've reached the mountain, right?
yeah, now
so how do you
everyone's
find?
looking at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to readjust your goals.
Right. And your motivation, right? Because
Exactly. Yep.
now is that tough? It's a lot easier.
Especially when you don't do it.
Sure. What does that mean?
I never like readjusted. I'm like, okay, I'm here. Now it's just like,
Oh, you just kept going.
yeah, just kind of like going like, all right, I'm just
Was
like,
that a
here
mistake?
fighting. No, it just helps me with who I am today. And like, it's just like, all right.
Lessons
like,
learned.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just,
Did you wish you could get that Woodley one?
no, it just is what it is. It's just,
No one saw that coming.
yeah, that's life. It's happened, and where are you on to next?
Was that one where, because he didn't have necessarily that power? I know he had a couple of
Yeah.
stoppages, but I don't think anyone thought that he could do that to you. Did you not consider that or factor that in? Did he surprise you? Did you look past his power?
No, I don't think so. I think he just hit me with a good shot, and like I watched the fight. Freaking hand was up, then
Yeah.
hand was down, lights out.
Yeah.
Just how it was and why. Just
One of those things.
yeah, it's one of those
It's a
things.
fight game.
Yeah, it's a fight game, and like obviously you work on those things after the fact, but it doesn't matter because you lost.
Right.
So it's for me to freaking figure out why, and like, because once you tell it to the world, then what is it?
Right.
Excuses.
Fair enough. And now it's so far removed.
Yeah,
so
but
it would
it's
be-
still excuses.
Sure. Fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough. It was really nice. I know you don't pay attention to this stuff, but Rory was one of those guys who kind of just disappeared. I don't even think he went to the Hall of Fame when you guys went in, and he just showed up again. He was at the fight in Montreal last month, which I thought was nice because he kind of, I think, sort of maybe fell out of love with the sport.
Yeah.
You guys will always be connected.
Yeah.
Someone made a toy of you guys. Well, this is from the fight. This
Oh,
is
nice. Yep.
see that? What a moment that was.
Yeah.
And the photo of you guys before that 5th round. Did you actually say something to him there when Big John?
No.
This moment here, are you saying anything to him?
No. Well, not with words.
Sure. What are you saying without words?
Kind of like, I'm here. Let's go.
Bring it.
That's what I was thinking. Like, so like going back and like paying in the fight, I was like, quit running. That's what I was thinking. But then I went back and watched the fight. I'm like, he's just being Rory. But like in
Right.
my head, I'm like, hey, let's freaking fight.
Stand in the pocket.
Yeah, let's freaking fight. And that's kind of like what
Because I heard you say a story where like before your first fight against him, you texted Dana saying like, I want that guy.
Yeah.
And you felt like maybe he was a bit of a runner. So in your right, like that he wasn't really engaging as much.
No, not necessarily that. So like that would have been my 3rd fight in the UFC, and I was like the undercard of that Fox card, and he was like kind of next in line. So then he was in between me and where I wanted to be. So I didn't really ever do this, but I was like, hey, can I fight that guy? And he just fought. He might have fought Ellenberger, and it was kind of like he jabbed, and I think the UFC was thinking, okay, let's see him fight against Robbie, who's
Right.
going to force him to fight. So then I think they wanted him to be tested too. So it just worked out for me.
And when you looked at him in that moment,
That
yeah, what did you see?
really, I was just looking at him and letting him know, but I wasn't really like, it was more like my energy.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I'm trying to see anything that he's bringing. It was like, here's my energy.
Yeah.
What kind of situation?
You love that shit, right? Like if you could live that every day,
Yeah, I mean, you have to turn it off and
Sure.
turn it on, but
it's
I mean,
intense.
yeah, it's just
He told me
Live for
a
those
few years
moments.
back that that's his favorite moment. That fight, that moment right there.
He pushed himself. His not only that, his trainers and coaches and teammates pushed him to get to that point. So like, and it was a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
Strategic, freaking had strategies, freaking. It was all rolled up into one great fight.
Your favorite fight? Or you don't have one?
I don't really have one, but I think a lot of fans really like that fight.
Sure. And your lip, man, that was gnarly.
Yeah.
But there's no
No, they did a good job
look at
sewing
that.
me
Look at
up
that right
and
there.
like, yeah.
That was insane, man.
Yeah.
It was great because we saw you, the emotion. Like you were so fired up. And we don't often see that from you.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So for like that fight, like I'm a competitor, obviously. So like leading up to that fight, Rory never realized it, but like we were second fiddle.
Yeah.
That whole freaking build up to that fight, and then they freaking. So I'm training like super hard. I'm like, oh, they're putting me on the undercard of Aldo and freaking McGregor. So I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm freaking training. You disrespected me. Just disrespected me. Like, I get it. Aldo's the freaking man. Connor's the up and comer, but I'm the heavier guy. So I'm freaking training hard, like really freaking hard. And I actually had time to freaking relax after that 13-month of fights that I had. I think like 5 fights. So I was able to rest and put in a hard freaking camp for him. And I had something to prove. And then like 2 weeks before the fight, Aldo's out and they put in freaking Mendez. And I'm still the undercard.
Yeah. Were you pissed about that?
Yeah, but I didn't say anything. I wasn't pissed. I was like, okay.
We'll steal the show.
It is what it was. Yeah, like, all right. So, like, that's who he was fighting too.
Okay. Robbie with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, like, okay, like, I'm the freaking guy was what I was thinking.
I love that. Was that a thing that happened a lot in your career where you felt disrespected and you used that as some sort of motivation or fuel?
I mean, it happened here and there, but like it was. But when it was, I mean, the training is just like you never get
next level.
You never get tired.
Wow.
You never get tired because you're freaking training for something that no one can freaking see other than you, and it could be make believe.
Right.
It could be make believe. They were doing what they thought was best for the sport and freaking the eyes, which was probably the thing. But in my eyes, I'm like. No. So.
I remember you guys had to do some media leading up to it. Some stops you went, some stops you didn't go, like Ireland. You probably hated that, right?
I didn't mind it. I was just kind of like along for the ride, and I got to like watch McGregor mess with Aldo the whole time and put on a freaking scene and like.
Did you interact with him?
With who?
With McGregor?
Just hi kind of thing, like nothing, anything really, just hey.
That media tour gave us one of your greatest moments ever. You know what I'm talking about? The interview that you did on some local TV network. Do you know this one?
With the one where Rory and I were.
Did you want the rumored Conor McGregor fight to happen?
Oh, that was.
Put it up, Frank.
I wasn't too worried about it. Obviously, that was a big fight. He's a big draw, but wouldn't have been good for him.
How so?
Because if I hurt him, I wasn't taking his neck.
What were you going to take?
His soul.
That was you crushed him. You never would have been able to return.
We'll see. I'm a lot different than most people, and
in what
he
way?
found a way out.
Was he chicken?
And Diaz took his neck and was nice to him.
Wow. So he's soft? You calling him out?
I'm just telling it like it is and how I saw it.
Yo, when you said his soul, man, that thing is played over and over again.
Yeah, I think the stuff that I said after was freaking better than that.
Really?
Yeah, to me, because it was like, kind of like said exactly what I said. Like he did just freaking take his neck and freaking like let him off the hook.
But when you say that his soul, that's
because it's.
So you're saying Diaz let him off the hook?
I think so.
Wow.
Because he had him freaking could have done whatever he wanted. And then
submitting someone is letting them off the hook.
To me, it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Why so? I mean, like that's still a W, right?
Oh yeah. If
You want to
I wanna
hurt the guy.
I want to beat people.
Yeah.
Beat people up.
Not everyone would say
That's
that.
how I fought. It's kind of funny because like I laugh because I'm like coaching guys. Like in the UFC, I had to have 0 submission attempts.
Right. Attempts.
Yeah, that's what I was reading.
I think you only have one
and-
sub win in your career.
Yeah, and I work on submissions, but like in a fight, I'm trying to beat them up.
Do you express that to your fighters? Like, hey, submitting is...
No, because what in the end it's beat the guy up and he's gonna give you those submissions.
Sure.
So
Yeah, 22 knockouts, 1 sub.
yeah.
That ratio would...
Yeah, but the guy that I subbed wasn't very good.
No. Who was it?
I don't know.
Early in your career, right?
Yeah, it was a guy who I just don't know his name.
Can I even find it? Here it is. No. Yes. Jeremy Brown. King of the Cage, Extreme Edge, September of 2005.
And I wanted to submit him earlier with a guillotine, and frickin' my corner was like
Why?
shook me off because I was there to put in work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was like, okay.
It was available, though, the guillotine.
Yeah, but
Well, you did this in the first round, 2 minutes and 48.
yeah,
You could have
but
done it earlier?
yeah, but I heard him to
Okay.
knock him down, and then like.
Have there been times where you were like, oh, the sub is right here, but I
No,
want to be...
no,
Okay.
I don't think so. Maybe if I go back and watch
Sure.
the fight.
But you weren't looking for it. That wasn't your mentality.
No.
Wow, I've never heard anyone sort of talk about submitting versus knockouts like that, and in particular the Diaz McGregor
Well,
fight.
like sometimes like in my eyes and in my head, I was always thinking, if you submit somebody, there's tricks, right? There's little tricks like, oh, he tricked me. But if you whoop somebody's ass,
Yeah, you beat him up,
then there was really no trick to that.
and you didn't believe in not tapping though, right?
No, I would tap.
Yeah, you didn't think that's like some say I won't tap. It's a sign of weakness. It's a sign.
No, I would never go to sleep. That's stupid.
Why?
Oxygen away from your brain?
Yeah.
What does that prove?
What are you proving? Right.
If you got me, you got me.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
shit, you
So what's the
freaking got
point?
me.
Yeah. Did you think of the mentality of like I want to take this person's soul? Did you think like that?
No, I think I never really thought about it. Really, I just how I fought, and like when a guy is at a certain level and you're at a certain level and you're pretty much kind of trying to put him in the situation of, at least I was trying to, do you want this as much as I want it? Let's go. And that's kind of like my mindset for a little bit.
It's funny because you mentioned Tyson earlier. I just read a book about Mike Tyson that just came out yesterday. It's a really great book, and your mentality is exactly the stuff that he used to say. Like he used to say, like I want to press this guy's skull into his brain and stuff like that. Like very specific, but always about pain and inflicting damage, not to just go out there and point fight or anything like that.
Yeah, because for him it was something else.
Yeah.
That's why he was able to punch the way he did. He punched the way he did, not because of the power, because of his God-given talents, as much as it was his intent that he trained with. He turned himself into this beast.
Did you do that too?
I don't know.
Okay.
But that was the whole point. Like, hey, why am I lifting these weights? Why am I doing these exercises? Are they to look good, or why am I moving this weight? What am I trying to create? And I think that's very important when you're a fighter. And why are you doing these things? Are you doing these things because the coach is telling you to do this? Or are you doing this because this is actually going to help you? How does what you're doing, translate into beating someone's ass?
Were you coachable as a fighter?
I was coachable, yeah, but I needed to see where we were going with this. I wasn't doing stuff just to do it.
Blindly.
I needed to see and
See the method
and,
to the
and
madness.
understand it.
Yeah. And did you ever have a situation where you didn't actually like, not hate, but like have animosity towards your opponent and didn't want to inflict damage on them?
No, I mean, it's just to me, it's how you play sports. Like when I played football, American football,
Yeah.
it was, I'm going to freaking play rough. I'm gonna hit you hard, and I'm just gonna. That's kind of like my mindset.
Which position did you play?
I mean, I
Everything.
played. Yeah, I mean,
Till what age?
until I was out of high school.
Okay.
So,
Did you want to go further?
I mean, obviously the money was there, but like, just my thing was fighting. So it
Yeah.
was like,
So the reason I asked you that previous question was because you've given us so many great memories and moments, but the interaction that you had with Nick after your last fight against him was a different side of you. You know, it was caught on camera where you said something to the effect like, if he needs any help, to reach out, or you'd want. It was a very empathetic side in the heat of the moment. You remember that, right?
yeah. So like, this sport is, and sports in general, these are our guys. These are. If who's not going to look out for a fighter other than fighters? Like,
Right.
we're competing, we're athletes, but like, I just felt like he needed to know, like, I'm there if you need something. But
What do you think prompted you to say that in the moment, literally seconds after the fight?
Just felt like the thing to do.
Yeah. There were some like kind of warning signs that week. It felt like he was saying he didn't want to be there.
He's always been like a little. I've been at a lot of press conferences with him at freaking Elite XC and whatever, and I'm just like, oh, somebody take the mic from this guy, kind of thing. But like, because he would actually talk for a very long time, but it just seemed like he was, and he came back too.
Yeah.
And that was another fight that I felt disrespected.
Okay. Why was that? It was low on the card.
Because I wasn't doing so well in fighting at the time, and he comes out of retirement and he freaking chose me. And I'm like,
no.
'Cause I trained very freaking hard for that fight.
Okay. Could you tell from the get-go that it wasn't the old Nick?
No, because I was like worried about myself. And I would say, like, my cornerman said he freaking hit me with some freaking hard shots. He said they were freaking like super loud. And I'm like, yeah, but it wasn't. But it was, I'm always focused on myself, but I was just on a mission to let whoever freaking decided to put him up against me, let them know that that wasn't a freaking good idea.
Did he take you up on the offer? Did he reach out to you? Did you ever speak to him?
No.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of operates the way he operates, and that's why a lot of people really, really like him, and he is adored. But obviously, I think he has a lot of people that want to help him, and whatever he's going through, hopefully he's going to be all right.
Did you think about life after fighting and what the damage might do to you? Like, did you ever think of any of that stuff?
No, it's just one of those things where I'm focusing on how to be better at fighting, but that being said, what's better at fighting mean? That means nutrition, that means health. So the kind of things that I was doing wasn't just freaking hurting people, it's freaking to make myself healthy. Like, a lot of these fighters aren't stupid. They're not just freaking there like just fighting and going home. They're freaking taking care of themselves, doing the right things for their brains, freaking resting if they're smart.
That has evolved over time though, like probably in the early 2000s.
I think sports in general have always been evolving, but I think people have been doing this for a long time. They probably just didn't get as much PR about it.
The reason I asked that is lately there's been a lot of concern regarding BJ Penn. Have you seen anything regarding him? And there's worry about, brain damage and things like that. So this is a very real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing, but BJ is awesome. But what are you doing outside of fighting and outside of your training camps? Who are you, like, how are you taking care of yourself? And I think those things are very important in life and in health. It's like, how are you, and you need to be conscious of taking care of yourself year round, not just 6 weeks before camp, 8 weeks before camp. It's a life thing. You only have one body.
Did you have like cheat meals and stuff like that, or were you very strict?
Yeah, I had cheat meals.
Okay.
But I mean, I would say even now, like I'm dieting. I eat a lot less but I eat like twice a day. I try to
wow.
get as much protein as I can, but it's hard to hit the numbers that I want and get my macros. But I don't try to spend too much time on that because that would take away from the fun of working out, really, if I dove too deep into those things, and I would focus on it, wouldn't be as fun for me.
Do you miss competing? Like, do you ever think about grappling or just doing something where it's like mano y mano? I'm preparing for a date.
I mean, I could do that, but
Yeah.
I'm just not really.
You're not into
Not
it right
really.
now.
I like lifting weights and freaking hitting the bag and keeping myself healthy. And
Do you spar?
no, I don't spar.
Okay.
I mean, I could, but like
What's
if
the
somebody
point?
needed a lefty and like maybe.
Okay.
But I would need good training partners and guys who like. I don't need them, but I would like them.
Sure.
And what am I going to learn from it? And how much are they going to receive from what I'm giving to them type of situation? So it's like a give and take when you're working with guys. So,
Are there any fighters in the UFC that you really respect and enjoy watching right now? I know you say you don't watch a lot.
I don't
but
really watch fighters
wow.
that too much. But I mean, if I go to a fight, I'm like, oh, okay. Or if I see something like, I'm like, okay, this guy's like, there's this guy at our gym like a year and a half ago, and I was like walking through. I'm like, oh, he's here, and he was hitting the pads with this coach. And I'm like, looks good. Then I'm like, okay. Then I watch one of his fights, and I'm like, okay, there it is. I'm like, just to see how it translated to, and then I was okay, I get it.
And then you
Move on, like a quick, like, because it doesn't take that much to like see guys and like, oh, okay, like I see why you're good, and like it's fun, but I try not to spend too much time on unless I have to
Sure.
to watch a certain guy.
I'll let you go in a second, but I'm just curious, do you prefer the old UFC where it was a little less, there's a lot of wrestlers, there's a lot of, it's very much a sport now, right?
Yeah.
Where there's guys who have grown up as MMA fighters as opposed to strikers.
Specialists.
Yeah. Which version did you like better, or do you like better?
I mean, it's constantly evolving. It's gonna switch again, but I think
What do you mean by switch again?
because the sport's constantly evolving.
Okay.
I mean, you got certain guys, everyone's good at everything now. Everyone's been training everything. But then you're going to have specialists, and the specialists will take over for a little bit.
Okay.
And then somebody's going to counteract that. It's just how sports
yeah.
are. You're not going to stay at the top doing the same stuff over and over again. It's evolving, and where's it going to next, and how you can stay ahead of that.
Okay. So your favorite, you don't have a favorite era?
I mean, I really liked watching like the Pride days
Yeah.
where it was like different weight classes, guys going
Open
at
weight.
it, and it was rough. It was like action
brutal.
packed.
Yeah.
Yes, head stomps, head or knees to the head of a downed opponent.
Soccer kicks.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it was rough, and it was you're stalling, yellow card, we're taking some money. Let's freaking put on a show, and that's what they did, and I think it was a different age, and obviously the sport's evolving, but they put on a lot of really good cards with.
Yeah. Mirko and those guys.
Oh, yeah.
Vanderlei, Fedor.
They built what the UFC is today.
Yeah.
Like the guys before me even built who I am, and now it's evolving. And
Did you get nervous before fights? Did you get anxious?
No, because it was like all the work's done. But when I was at my best, I was excited.
Okay. Excited.
I was excited because I was gonna freaking show off.
That word is a great word because Nick always used to get mad if someone would ask him if he was excited. He got really mad at me, and then I would see it in other interviews like, why do you think I'd be excited?
Yeah.
Why I'm going to, like he used to look at it a little bit differently. So that word took me back to that time.
Yeah, I was excited. I'm like, okay, my body felt good. If I was excited, I was like, oh shit, my body feels good. Like this guy's in trouble.
Incredible. You're the man, Robbie. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the great fights, the memories, and thanks for coming in here.
Yeah,
this wasn't so
appreciate it.
bad.
No, it's easy.
Did you like dread this like a trip to the dentist,
No.
colonoscopy or
No,
something? No. Okay, yeah.
All good. It was easy.
I appreciate it. Are you going to the fight on Saturday?
No, I got to travel home.
Oh, wow. I thought that's why you're here.
I was gonna go, but I have.
Now you go. Now you
Stuff
just came
came
just
up.
to see
Yeah,
me?
I'm busy. Yep, just for you.
Ah, wow. What an honor. Good luck. Will you be at the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it will be.
Speech?
Yep. Yeah, working on it.
You're writing it.
I gotta
You'll
write
wing
it
it.
out and figure it out.
Who's
and make
inducting
sure
you?
Dave Martin.
Your manager.
Yep, exactly.
Been by your side for so many years.
Yeah, yeah.
Love it.
Yep,
Love it.
we're building something.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break. Say goodbye to Robbie. We'll be back to wrap up the show. Do not go anywhere. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.